drawing all my life.
I was always like that when I was a little boy.
But my brother gave me his comic collection.
I've been collecting comics probably since I was 8 or 9 years old.
Drawing, doodling characters I've seen on TV.
Drawing in my math books when I should have been learning math.
It's just a nice feeling when you meet like-minded people who also happen to be Puerto Rican, who also think that, you know, we should definitely be represented in a more positive light.
An illustrator.
I'm an illustrator and digital artist and colorist.
I've been drawing comics professionally over 20 years.
This is the cover to Spawn 200. It was drawn by Mark Silvestri, inked by Todd McFarlane, and colored by myself.
This is a splash page from an issue by, I think it was my first issue of Detective Comics.
I've always been an advocate for our community, and now that I find myself working within the comic book industry, I feel that the Latinos in the comic book industry are oftentimes very much underrepresented, or for that matter, not celebrated. As the Center for Puerto Rican Studies exists to archive, document, and celebrate our Puerto Rican culture, I felt the necessity to add to that and to diversify its archive and diversify its realm of celebration.
I was invited with other Puerto Rican artists to partake in this sort of like information gathering, answering questions.
I think it's always nice to be able to see someone who looks like you, someone who probably grew up the same experiences that you did, same household, ate the same food, or just sort of shared the same culture that you did, that is also doing something that you love. Maybe there was someone here today who wants to do comics. Maybe they didn't really know if there were others like them doing it. You can do whatever you want. It doesn't matter what you are.
Now I'm starting to think of my art as a professional kind of media. Now before it was for fun, it was hobby.
I did one issue of Detective that featured a character, Renee Montoya. So when I drew that issue, I think it was probably the only time I had drawn like a Latina character.
There's this black Spider-Man, there's this thing, and you rarely hear the Spanish side, and I think it's very important. Everyone else seems to be raising their flag, so damn right the Puerto Rican flag should be raised on this occasion. People were genuinely, they were very into it, very enthusiastic. They had tons of questions, they had smiles on their faces. I was pleasantly surprised when I got there that the crowd just kept filling up.
I've seen many documentaries, and I wasn't really aware on the pressures of being an illustrator.
You're not aware of who is what in comics. It's a faceless industry. You'll see a name and you're not sure if they're Filipino, if they're Puerto Rican, if they're Dominican. So for us to kind of say, yes, we are Puerto Rican and this is what we are doing is really important.
We need a hero. We need a symbol. We need something.
And that's kind of like the foundation that inevitably led to the creation of La Boricueña.
I wanted to do something that created community, like the community that created who I am. And I also wanted to do something for these brothers up here.
I think he started something amazing, because this is something I've never seen before. I've told him, I've never seen a character like this before. I think people are gonna love it, and it's just like, people can relate. I feel like that's part of a strong story, is that people can relate to it, and you create a dialogue and a discussion, and I think that's what he's done with La Boricueña.
Puerto Rican youth in the United States, the continental United States, really need to hear what's going on in Puerto Rico. They don't get enough information about Puerto Rico, and La Boricueña is a perfect vehicle for that, because not only is she an educational tool, she's also a tool for awareness.
Everyone that actually on the panel actually worked on the poster, which is actually the first time that 9 Puerto Rican artists came together to actually work on something that actually worked within the genre of comic book art.
I received so much amazing feedback from so many women because they want to get into the industry. They want to be able to create, to illustrate, to be able to be one day celebrated in a forum like Café con Comics.
I think it's important for other people to see people like them and think, yeah, I can do it. I can do that because she's doing it. She's also Puerto Rican, she's a girl, she can draw.
Who knows, maybe some of the very artists that were in that room may actually come back a few years later and say, if it wasn't for that event, I wouldn't have had the courage to step up and pursue my dreams. And that's the only reason why I produce these events, for the sake of creating a space where not only as an artist you're celebrated, but as an individual participating, you're inspired and that you can take something and you can claim ownership for yourself.